Townsend even helped spread the use of the printing press in Yoruba land. But as you might expect, the British government had a different agenda. The British didn't just come with trade, they brought colonial structures that overturned the traditional systems. Though Abeokuta maintained its confederacy for a while, the British eventually imposed their colonial rule, altering the balance of power between the kings and the Ogboni. Facing prices and potential shortages of cotton from America, particularly during the American Civil War, the British saw the Egba as a potential new source of raw cotton. The Egba already possessed the knowledge and skills for cotton cultivation and processing, so the British encouraged them to expand their production, viewing legitimate commerce in cotton as a way to displace the slave trade. The British also wanted to control the region because of its booming palm oil trade, and they saw Abeokuta as a strategic location. You know how they do. At first, the Egba resisted. They said, "Nah, we don't want your interference." But over time, the British influence grew, especially after they introduced something called indirect rule. So what is indirect rule? Oh yeah, let's break it down. Instead of taking over directly, the British let the traditional rulers like the Alake and the other kings maintain their power, but under the British supervision. While the kings were still ruling, they had to report to the colonial officers. It was like giving them power, but at the same time taking it away. That's Frederick Lugard for you. He's the guy behind the indirect rule system. By the late 1800s, the British gradually imposed indirect rule. They didn't abolish the kings, but they started using them as instruments of colonial governance. The kings became figureheads with real power, slowly slipping into the hands of British colonial officers. The indirect rule system gave the British control over the Egba territory without a full-on takeover. They introduced taxes, infrastructure, and Western legal systems, but also undermined traditional authority. But beyond politics, the British also introduced Western education and Christianity to Abeokuta, and this opened up new opportunities. Abeokuta became one of the first places where Western-style education thrived, thanks to missionaries like Henry Townsend. In fact, Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther, who translated the Bible into Yoruba, played a big role here too. So Abeokuta evolved into a place where tradition met modernity. It's a city that embraced change, but at its core, it still valued its rich cultural heritage. Despite the colonial control, Abeokuta remained a Yoruba city and thrived as a cultural hub. To today, these four kings still reign, each representing the legacy of the Egba people. Speaking of legacy, do you know that some of Nigeria's greatest icons came from this city? Let me give you a quick roll call. Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Chief Moshood Kashimawo Abiola, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, Professor Wole Soyinka, Chief Ebenezer Obi-Fabiyi, Tunde Kilani, Pastor Tunde Bakare, and many more go to show that Abeokuta is not just a city of kings and warriors, it's also a city of icons who have shaped Nigeria and the world. So what can we learn from Abeokuta, this Yoruba city with four kings? First, it teaches us the power of unity. Even with different leaders, the Egba people found a way to build a strong and cohesive community. Second, it shows us that no matter how much change or external influence comes, a people can hold on to their identity and thrive. And that's Abeokuta, the city under the rock, where four kings rule in harmony. Ashawa Oni Parun.